All right. We're live. Welcome to Winterviews, Series 5, Episode 7. Remember that right. I'm your host, Catherine Silva, Cat for short. And today we have Grace Reynolds on the show. Very, very excited for you to be here.
I'm excited to be here. I feel like we need to hang out more.
Now that you're East Coast, right?
Mm-hmm, yes.
Yeah. So, but we will have the chance. We're gonna see each other at the dark summer.
Dark summer, summer in disguise.
And that's in August, so that should be super fun.
I'm excited. Going to make a little trip out of it, hopefully, and see some friends that live in the area. And one of them happens to be Bookstagram, where I said, "Do you want to come? Like, just come. We'll just make a trip out of it. It's like a couple hours from your house. We can make this work."
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
Good. There's a good bar around or it's sort of like a restaurant. I guess it's more of a restaurant, but it's got a bar as well, obviously,
Very nice.
Around the corner. So there's good things near Framingham. It'll be fun.
I'm excited. I haven't been to Massachusetts in a very long time.
Yeah, it's well, southern Massachusetts. I feel like I've frequented quite a bit in the last.
Is southern Massachusetts different culturally from northern Massachusetts?
No, not. I mean, it's closer to Rhode Island, I guess, but no. I mean, I'm also saying that not as a person from Massachusetts, so I'm sure that all of them will descend upon the comments and say that I'm wrong.
You can blame me. It's fine.
But Massachusetts is not our topic today.
That's true.
Our topic today is Texas horror, which I am not super knowledgeable about, as I was telling you. I think the only other one I can think of besides your book is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It's in the name. But that's what we are talking about today. And we're just sort of saying hello to the people in the chat here.
Hi, friends. Thanks for being here.
Very excited. Robbie.
Hi, Robbie. Well, happy Thursday.
So Texas horror. What? Well, wait. Before we even get there, let's talk about you. Let's have. I know. So frightening. Would you mind just sort of telling our guests a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So hi, friends that are watching live and watching later. My name is Grace Reynolds, and I write dark fiction and poetry. I currently have 2 horror poetry collections called Lady of the House and The Lies We Weave. And the Neon Moon is my debut long fiction book or novella. It's about a honky-tonk slasher that takes place in the Texas Hill Country. And I used to live in Texas, but now I live in Maryland.
And then you also had a limited edition chapbook. It's not a chapbook, it's a poetry book.
No, it was a chapbook. We could call it that. Yes, I think there might still be a couple copies left. It's called Midnight Blue. It's just my chapbook of processing living with chronic illness, because I have lived with a autonomic nervous system syndrome called postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome for about 20 years. And the really bad way of explaining what that is that my brain doesn't tell my heart to circulate fast or slow enough sometimes. So if I'm standing for long periods of time, like if I'm wearing flats, you may see my feet get purple because of its blood pooling. As I've gotten older, I've grown out of some symptoms. I have new symptoms, which are not quite as fun. But I think I've had time on my side to kind of learn how to manage it as best I can. I'm thankful that it doesn't hinder my mobility as much as it does for other people, because I don't require mobility aids. So, yeah. But that is my little chapbook. It's for chronic illness, but it's also a little love letter to Texas, because I processed a lot of things that happened in my life when I lived down there, and being able to articulate living with chronic illness is one of them, because I think if you're a person who lives with chronic illness, you know how hard that can be to just even try to describe what you're feeling inside, because most of the time it's invisible. And we call it invisible illness because on the outside we look just fine, but on the inside there's chronic pain, there's fatigue, and depending what you have, it wreaks havoc on different organs in your body. It's not a fun time, but the longer I've had it, the more I've learned you got to focus on the good days, and on the bad days you do what you can to get through it and to articulate what it is that you need from people that you love around you. If you're having a good day, if you're having a bad day. So yeah, that's my current catalog, if you will.
And I have all of them very happily.
Oh, you're the best, Kat.
The Lady of the House is still one of my favorite poetry collections.
I'm so glad it still resonates with, I'm glad that it's reaching people still, even because I published that in 2021, and that was my very first collection that I didn't even think I was going to write. I was friends with Raven White, who runs Curious Corbett Publishing, and in 2020 she had gotten her LLC. She was so excited, and I had just said, "Hey, by the way, I'm thinking about writing this." She's like, "You should do it. You should do it. Do you want to publish with me?" I'm like, "Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it." And I didn't think it was going to go anywhere, reach anybody, and it did. And I'm really happy that it continues to do its thing still.
Yeah, I think all three of those through Curious Corvid.
Yeah. They've been very great with poetry. They have a great selection of poetry. If you like to read poetry, I highly encourage you to just check out some of their other titles. It's a good range, mostly Gothic, I would say, but not all.
Okay. Yeah, if you guys want to support some, women-owned horror small presses, Curious Corvid's a really good one to check out. It's got a pretty wide catalog, some really awesome stuff. But Neon Moon is the new book that's coming out May 5th.
Yes, May 5th.
And it is a whole lot of Texas horror.
It is a lot.
First off, my curious question is your history with Texas. Is it the place where you were born and grew up, or did you move there and live there for a while, or what's the history?
So I did not grow up in Texas, actually. I have lived quite a few places in my life because of my dad's job. My dad was in Air Force, or not Air Force, I shouldn't say that. He's U.S. Airways plane mechanic. So for a long time, my dad was an airline mechanic. And so that his job would take us different places. So I was born in North Carolina, and I lived there for right before 9/11. And then after 9/11, we moved to Florida for a couple of years. And then I spent the rest of my adolescence in New Jersey. So I tell people that I grew up in New Jersey because that's where most of the time of forming who I was and all my teen angst happened in New Jersey. And then after that, I have since lived in Arizona, Maryland,
oh my God,
Georgia, Texas, and now I'm back in Maryland because my partner's job. And so, but we lived in Texas from 2020 to 2024, and I fell in love with all the good things in Texas, and I got to meet a lot of wonderful, wonderful people through the horror community specifically. I think that they made me feel very welcome in a state that I was initially nervous to be in, because I remember when we moved into Texas, it was July 2020, which was, it was in the middle of the height of COVID. My mom was so sweet. She has a camper. So she was helping us move with the kids and whatnot. And I remember thinking, I was like, gosh, this state is so big. Wow, there's a lot of feels out here. Uh, and then I saw the largest gas station in my life, and it was a Buc-ee's. Like there's like 60 gas pumps at Buc-ee's outside of San Antonio. It's nuts. And I sent a picture to my German friend, and I said, "Look what I found." She's like, "What is that?" I was like, "This is a gas station."
Oh my God.
So yeah, and I lived there for 4 years, and I got to meet wonderful people like LP Hernandez and Johnny Compton and Celso Hurtado and Bob Pastorella and Max Booth and Ryan Bradley, Agatha Andrews, Artie Joseph, the whole lot of them. And there's a lot of people. There's a big horror community in Texas. So I felt like I was very fortunate to come into the horror community through the Texas scene because they're very supportive down there, despite of how large the state is.
Cool. Very cool. Yeah, I guess I hadn't realized how many of them were from Texas, but I've seen some of the conventions, I guess, that you guys have done down there.
Yeah, there was Ghoulish Books Festival, and then I know KillerCon happens in Austin, and that's primarily for, I want to say, like the splatterpunk and extreme horror crowd.
Okay.
There's a couple that happen around Dallas, and I don't really know too much about them. Oh my gosh, there was another very cool one that happened in Austin as well. Is it Fantastic Con? It's probably the wrong one, but it's cool because they'll preview horror movies, and then we got to sell books there, which was really fun for a day, and just getting to meet horror fans in different venues is fun.
Cool. Very cool. Now, were you in northern?
No, I was right in the center in San Antonio, Texas. Okay. So that's the heart of Texas, like Austin, and San Antonio specifically. So if you're looking at Texas on a map, this is not the Michigan Mitt. We're going to pretend that this is Texas right now. Like Dallas is up here, and Austin's here, San Antonio is here, and then Houston is like all the way down here, and then El Paso's all over here.
Gotcha. All right. I really should have looked at a map of Texas before this. Thank you. That worked. That was perfect. So I know you put out a blog post today where you were talking a little bit about how you're defining Texas horror. If you wouldn't mind just kind of like reiterating a little bit, and maybe a little more, about what you are defining it as and how it kind of splinters off from the Western subgenre of horror.
Yeah, I loved that you had asked me this, because I was like, shoot, I gotta like actually think about this, because I think for a long time a lot of us we talked to like Texas horror. We were talking about like specifically Texas authors in Texas, because it's so far away from a lot of other places where authors are concentrated. I think it was this label that kind of gave us some camaraderie, like we're Texas horror. But when I thought about your question, I was like, okay, well now I got to go back and rewind a little bit. So I think it's important for folks to understand what Western horror is first. Western horror and Texas horror are cut from the same cloth. They have the same landscapes. You still have those similar themes of like isolation because you're so far away from everything. And that civilization is very fragile. Like you have a lot of these little small communities and pockets everywhere. The difference is, and this is what I believe, is that in Western horror, you have the frontier pushing back. The fear is the frontier. It's what you can't see. It's what happens when people disappear in the middle of nowhere, like The Hills Have Eyes, or like The Hunger, or more recently like Bone Tomahawk, or trying to think of a couple other like good examples. But that's like, I think that's the main one. And there's also there's more of an existential crisis happening in Western horror, I think. And what I think Western horror also does a really good job of showing is it destabilizes this myth of like heroism through conquering the West, and it actually shows you it's the opposite. It's truly the opposite, and it shows readers, it shows film viewers that man is flawed, and that like who are you when the rules of society are no longer there, and those parameters are no longer there. So I think that is a lot of what Western horror is to me personally. And then with Texas horror, I think you got to go inwards a little bit. It's more of a micro look at what it is. So with Texas horror, you're looking at like cultural and regional differences, and specifically like when I talk about Texas horror, I'm thinking like, well, one, stories that take place in Texas, but also like what surrounds those cultural and regional stories. You have like family legacies in particular, or a past that people won't let go of. Like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre is a uniquely Texas story. It takes place in Texas, but people wouldn't call it a Western necessarily. And like what is happening in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, you have to look at the times as well too. What is it, the 1970s? So you're looking at the post like Vietnam era, American industrialism, and what's happening with that, protests around the country. In that particular movie, we have a slaughterhouse fit workers who have lost their jobs, and they are cannibals as a result. And so with Texas horror, and I'm going to say like any regional horror, you're looking at the fear is not necessarily the landscape. The fear is the horrors that are living next door to you that you didn't even know were there. And so I think what I liked that idea about focusing on something like that, because you look at like a small little society, like a small town horror. You're the people next to you. Can you trust them to help you in your time of need? And like, what are their morals? What are their values? And so I think that's the main difference, like cultural, regional specifically, and then the stories and legacies around those tales in particular. In particular, like with Texas, the landscape, right? The setting itself as Texas, and how Texas can be a character in the story that, I guess, supplements what's going on around it.
Gotcha. It brings to mind the idea of, oh God, I've just noticed I'm missing comments here. I've noticed that there's maybe there's kinship to Appalachian horror in that, that very like legacy familial bond.
Yeah, absolutely. You're gonna laugh. Neon Moon actually was originally set in Appalachia when I first wrote this book, and so that's the thing. The book had a different name that I came to my publisher with. It was set in Appalachia, and the more we talked about it, we both agree like, hey, we need to change the setting, because the one thing that I think with Appalachian horror you have to make sure that you get right is that Appalachia is a character in horror. And I think because I hadn't lived there, even though I grew up going to Appalachia, seeing family a lot, like my dad's family has heavy Kentucky roots in particular. I wasn't quite capturing what needed to be there. And so I was like, yeah, let's do it in Texas. And I rewrote the book. I was like, because I know Texas, I know it. I know the backcountry. Because I would go to see concerts in the hill country with my friends. I even leaned into rodeo for a little bit to go hang out at rodeos. Oh, that's crazy and fun. So I was like, I can do this. I can put this into a Texas setting, and the story is better for it.
Nice. Yeah. I mean, it's seamless. It doesn't feel like it was written for a different genre at all. So, I'm just gonna pop through. We've had a few different comments that have gone through, and of course I've missed them because I was staring at my notes selection there. We are getting geography lessons, and then there was this about paranormal and HorrorCon in Augusta.
I didn't know there were HorrorCons in Augusta. That's exciting. My grandmother lives in North Augusta. Tell me more.
And the question I have is that Augusta, Maine?
Oh, is that Maine or Georgia?
Or is that Augusta, Maryland?
Oh, I was thinking Georgia. Shoot.
Or Georgia. Because, yeah.
That's true. I feel like I don't hear a whole lot that happens in that region. I know that Florida's got a strong contingency happening down there.
Well, we'll see anyway which one it is. Back to the questions about Texas. And you already technically answered my next question, which was about the differences between Texas horror and Western horror. So let's jump into creating characters.
Okay.
Because that's always super fun. And you have a lot of very, I would call them very,
Colorful.
characters I would expect to see in a Western, in Neon Moon. So let's talk about identifying these characters as Texan. And how because you did have to rewrite the book, so you technically then also had to rewrite these characters and make them fit within the setting. So tell us a little bit about how you created them.
I think that in the first iteration of the book, and I think you would agree, any first draft, we're going to call the first iteration of the book the zero draft, or as friend Brian McCauley calls it, the skeleton draft, if you will. Like they're scaffolding. And so putting it in Texas, I leaned into the history of the region. And one thing to know about the Texas Hill Country in particular is that it was primarily settled by German immigrants in the late 1800s. So if you go into the Texas Hill Country outside of Austin or San Antonio, you're going to see towns with German names and German breweries and beer gardens and things like that. So I'll start off with like Randy, for example. Our character Randy, he is like the very proud owner of a peach orchard in particular. That is a thing. All around central Texas and the Hill Country is orchards, particularly peach orchards, but not just peaches, other fruits as well. So like I use some of that history to give the backstory, at least for Randy's character. And then for Ezra, it's obvious he's a washed-up rodeo star. And so I got to have some fun playing with the like rodeo culture, and for the folks who like to read cowboy romances, there's a couple of little nods to those readers as well, and like I think they'll pick up on a couple things in there of some of his behaviors in particular as a bull rider. And when it came to Wanda, so I told you're gonna laugh, the way I pitched this book was, at least like the new version of it, that one that you read now, is Texas Chainsaw Slasher meets Roadhouse meets fried green tomatoes.
Ah, yeah.
which is a really unhinged combination to put together. But I liked this idea of having an old bar, like an old saloon owner who just like could throw a wash rag over her shoulder and like be this person who's full of sage wisdom, but also is a complicated character and has her own past. And but I'll be real. The real origin of the story is that a couple of years ago, I thought, it'd be so fun if Dolly Parton had a chainsaw and was a final girl.
Yeah.
Right. And so like that's kind of where Darlene's character was born out of, the main character, Darlene Boone. But the more I was writing the story, I was like, okay, this can't be a comedy. It's as fun as it is. I was like, I can't make this into a comedy, mostly because I didn't want to insult the people around me, like Texans that nice Texans that bring the good of Texas to the table, we'll say. I didn't want to make fun of them in a mean way, because there's a balance to everything, right?
Yeah.
I wanted to highlight the things that are really wonderful about Texas. That I got to live there for a couple years and saw as an outsider, somebody who grew up in the Northeast, the differences and the similarities. But I also wanted to bring some of those little fun quirks to create that playful banter in the bar that you see between the characters themselves, and insert some dynamics into a honky tonk in particular, where like bars are fun and they can be a good time, they can be a somber time, but in particular I think like a honky tonk, it's a perfect storm, because you've got the live music, you've got rowdy people who are dancing and singing, and maybe they're trying to get someone's number for the night, but also it's a place where tensions simmer and all these things can happen, kind of like a tornado, and what happens when it explodes. And so yeah, I had a lot of fun using a lot of the Texas history and the cultural references to kind of create the atmosphere around it, and help push, I guess, the characters' backstories to the front as well. Because I think that one thing I learned more about writing this book was how to create characters that readers could connect with more. And in a slasher before,
Yep. I gotta say, funny, nice touch would be the bridal party as well. They're just a really fun addition
Yeah.
to that night. You know, this takes place at night at the bar, at the honky tonk bar.
Mm-hmm.
And there's just a bridal party there from out of town. And that's like life. You're not just always going to expect the same people to frequent the I was trying to remember the name of the bar. It's
The Tea Garden Saloon.
Tea Garden Saloon. Thank you. So I enjoyed that. When you were, I have to ask about the pet possum. Because like we have possums around here.
Oh yeah.
Certainly not the kind that you would have as a pet necessarily.
Are they a little more feral?
Like a common thing.
Mm-hmm. I don't know, it's just fun, you know.
It's like, I mean, it's super cute. I was like, is that a thing? Do people have like pet possums?
I think people do have pet possums. I don't think it's commonplace. There's a store though. There's a store in like I think it's in Fredericksburg, Virginia, and I want to make like a pilgrimage there because it's an opossum themed store, and they have an opossum there. But it's like opossum themed gifts, and I think there's books, and I just want to go.
Okay.
I saw after writing the book, I saw a video. Sorry, I'm like crying as I'm laughing.
No,
I saw a video of a guy at a bar, and just chilling on the bar top was a possum.
Oh my God.
And I want to say, I forget what this, it might have been the song Neon Moon, like playing in the background. It's like, wow, that's a sign.
That's perfect.
I think part of me just wanted to do something a little fun. Because I like animal sidekicks. I like when they survive. That's just me. That's me. I know it's not everybody, but that's just me. But I thought, I was like, no, I need a critter. I don't need like a loyal dog. I need a critter. And like besides a raccoon.
Something slightly unhinged.
Slightly unhinged, like an opossum who can't control when they're afraid and that's why I learned about opossums. They can't control when they play dead. Like how awful is that?
I mean, I get it. It's part of instinct and survival, but it certainly makes for a funny addition.
Mm-hmm. I just like the idea of people slipping him French fries with like the locals. And then you're still halfway through the book, so I won't tell you what happens in some of his moments later on. But okay. I thought it was just something like so endearing to add into it, and just something fun and different. And I don't know, I thought I thought it would be fun and silly and like a nice little piece of like some levity in a otherwise very heavy story.
It's
armadillos. Maybe the next one will be an armadillo, man. I don't know.
It's just giving you all the ideas.
Just a critter of the night.
Critter with a little cowboy hat.
Yes, and it's fun because there are people who put cowboy hats on little critters, and I'm surprised that the critters let them without biting them. Who knows? But
I'm very interested in trying to find this place in Fredericksburg because we drive through there to go to AuthorCon.
Yeah.
Every year. We've missed our chance for this year, unfortunately. But
how did you have a good time at AuthorCon this year?
Yeah. No, it was good.
I have not gone yet.
I recommend that show heartily. It's really for a good cause. It's a good time. You meet some wonderful people. The readers you meet are great. and everybody just has a blast. So.
Is it more of like an intimate experience than StokerCon is? Because last year was my first StokerCon, and there were a lot of people there.
So I would say it's more intimate than StokerCon. StokerCon felt like you were doing something. I mean, this one is tough because you do have panels, you've got readings, you do have, a whole ballroom full of vendors to check out. So you can have stuff to do nonstop, but the scale is smaller. You're not just overwhelmed. StokerCon last year was a lot. It was fun, but it was a lot coupled with whatever was going on with that hotel and
liminal horror.
The liminal horrors of the hotel. So I do like AuthorCon because it feels like family at this point. It feels like you're going home to hang out with family. So, and for me, I get to see people that are like family to me. So it's like, it's especially wonderful. So.
Oh, I love that. Well, next time you go through, let me know. We'll go find the possum store. Maybe next year I'll go to AuthorCon for my first time. I don't know. We're gonna find out.
It'd be sweet.
Do you recommend going as a participator first? Like, what did you do? Did you table like your first year?
I've tabled every year. It's too far for me to just go and hang out.
What is it, like a 10-hour drive for you?
It was 17 one way.
Oh my gosh.
But that's also because we got lost.
Oh no, I'm so sorry.
Of the GPS, being a turd. But it's I know people who went just to hang out this time. Tanya, who was on here last week, she just went to hang out, which was really cool.
I watched that episode. That was a great episode. You guys are funny.
That's fun. We know how to have a good time. And then Jacob Haddon, who's also a wonderful friend, runs Apocrypha Press. He also just went to just like hang out and go to the panels and everything. And so I get it whichever way you wanted to do it. If you want to do it. But back to Neon Moon. Flying back to Neon Moon.
I know. I have a tendency to like ask random questions, like, "What are you doing? How was your day?"
No, that's good. I just want to make sure that I give you all of the spotlighting time that you need and want for the book. So I want to do you justice here. So.
I appreciate it. I feel like I'm learning as I go. I'm like getting back into the podcast. I hadn't done like a podcast in 3 years until like this past winter. I was like, I'm going to be social again.
They're, the fact I like doing these guys for this time of the year because there's not a whole lot going on through, January through March and April. And then I feel like I go on other people's podcasts and I'm just like loony as all get out and I forget how to talk.
It's like, I feel like afterwards, like I black out. I'm like, I don't know what I said, but I hope it was good.
Yeah, exactly. And then I'll never watch the interview afterward either. I'll just be like, yeah, I said what I said. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry about Frank. He's like he's like a cryptid outside the door. He's like, let me in.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, it's not a possum that's trying to get its way in or any kind of a, Texas Chainsaw Killer. It is a dog.
It's a dog. His name is Frank, and he's a miniature schnauzer who is turning 10 years old this year, everybody.
Aww.
It's my little old man.
Very cute.
So I gotta ask, have you been to Texas yet?
No, I haven't been west. The furthest west I have been is would be upstate New York slash oh my God, Toronto.
Oh,
That's
I've
not
never
very
been to
west.
Canada. I hear Canada's beautiful.
I went to Toronto for one day.
Did you like it?
I did. I did, except that I couldn't. I had to put my phone on airplane mode because my phone wouldn't work up there.
Oh
And
no.
then the parking situation was
Frank.
kind of terrifying because I didn't have enough Canadian currency on me. So Little Ghost Books was like giving
Oh.
me money to pay for my parking spot, and I felt so horrible. I was just like, my God, this is awful. Like,
Oh, they're so nice. Got to meet them a couple years ago in Texas.
they're
They're very
so
nice.
awesome. They're
Got
so
a cool tote
awesome.
bag from them.
Yeah, they're great.
You hear my dog? Oh my God.
Yeah. Break down the door.
He might. He really might. And I'm just going to apologize in advance for that. Well, if you go to Texas, I got to recommend San Antonio, of course.
Okay.
There's great bookstores in San Antonio as well. Besides Coolish, you have the Nowhere Bookshop, which is fantastic and a beautiful historical part of the city. The Riverwalk is fun. There's great restaurants there. I don't know. It's just a really cool city. Not what I expected when I moved to Texas. I'll say that much.
It's cool. Yeah, I someday I'd really like to go on a cross country drive.
It's hard to block off
Texas.
time.
It is. It's I feel like I should have. I've worked at this job for close to 20 years.
Ooh.
And I feel like if I had accrued that much
time,
I could take, sadly it doesn't work that way, but uh-oh.
Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I was going to say, if you can do it when you can. In 2017, the furthest west, I've been to California once, but I'm going to say like the Southwest, West in particular, that I've been. For my birthday in 2017, we did a camping trip, like a backcountry camping trip through Colorado and Wyoming for 2 weeks. And that was so cool.
Cool.
Like Rocky Mountain National Park, gorgeous place. Western Colorado is so different from like the eastern part of the state, and then going up through Wyoming and seeing the Grand Tetons. And because the whole point was to go there was that the eclipse was on my birthday.
Oh, sweet.
So, yeah, I got to be in totality. It was amazing. There's something about like that part of the country. I don't know. It's just like being on a different planet. I think that's why I think that's what I liked about Texas. I liked the topography changes. It just changes in different parts of the states. It's the same when we lived in Arizona for a little bit, and people who live in Arizona, the southern part of the state, it's kind of like a canyon, and they have monsoon season, they called it. So we moved out there, and here I am. I'm like, oh my God, where are we? It's raining. There's like there's just like raining and like torrential like floods. Like this is supposed to be a dry state. I don't understand. And driving through sandstorms, but you know you go up towards Phoenix, and then you go up towards trying to think like Scottsdale and upwards, and you almost get like to evergreens around the Grand Canyon. And so, but Texas is very similar too. Like you've got like the pines, like in the north, and then you start going to like the plains in the central, and then you got the hill country in particular, which is a cool landscape. I'm going to show Johnny's book off because it's literally like this. Everyone say hi to Johnny's book. If you haven't read this book, you should read this book. It is a Southern Gothic. It's also, I'm going to call it Texas horror because of that regional storyline I told you about. But you have like the live oaks everywhere in the Texas Hill Country. And especially in the winter time, they don't really lose their leaves like they do. They will, but they won't be completely barren like trees up north will. it's like scraggly limbs that reach towards the sky, and there's something so cool and mysterious and creepy about them. I don't know. I love the Southwest for that reason. I love the landscape out there. It's so cool. And I grew up in New Jersey, so it's like everybody's like crammed like sardines up there.
Mm. Yeah, it's that is one thing about not having gone anywhere west of even the Midwest. It's like I can refer to photos, I can refer to, Google Earth. But there's something very different about seeing it and living in it and experiencing it.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like I someday would love to get out there. But until then, I will continue to write about the Northeast. And
Frank.
and honestly, too, I don't know if it makes sense to have the dog in the room or if that makes it worse or whatever is best. But
what do you want? Do you want Frank?
I'm whatever is best for you and Frank.
I don't know. We'll let him in. We'll let him in. One moment. All right, hold on, everybody. Oh my God.
We get an animal guest, okay, which is fun.
Come on, Frank. Come on. Would you like to say hi, Frank? Oh my goodness. Yeah, Frank cameo, everybody. And like, of course, and you know what he's gonna do? He's gonna sit.
Yeah.
He's just gonna sit.
Yeah. See, he just needed to be in the room. That's it.
Do you have any pets?
I do. I have a cat. I have an elderly cat. He is. I bought him a new heating pad today, a bed. So he is downstairs sleeping on that. It's like the best thing that he's ever experienced. His name is Lemon Jelly.
Oh, what's the story behind that?
Oh, it's not as fun as it should be. His name was Jelly at the animal shelter, and which is just a weird name for a cat. He's gray. He's a tuxedo cat, but he's gray, and he's got very bright yellow eyes. Mm-hmm. And there is a band called Lemon Jelly, so I figured that it just fit.
It just fit.
And he was a year old, so he was super like goofy and really antsy and jumped up on everything and ate all my plants and destroyed everything, and it really did fit his personality. So
when life gives you lemon jelly.
Yes. Exactly. I have a question about saloons.
Okay, tell me about this. Tell me your question about saloons.
Did you spend a lot of time?
I don't. I don't. But it's like your question or someone in the comments.
No. That's my question.
Not a whole lot of time. But I've been to some really cool establishments in Texas, in particular, that are like saloons. There is a very cool. If you like country music, the first thing I'll tell you is about Lukenbach, Texas. So, like, have you ever heard? I was like, let's go to Lukenbach, Texas. It is a place in the hill country that is similar to the Tea Garden Saloon, but it is not the same because it's a work of fiction that I wrote. And it is a place where country music stars will come and they'll sing. And it's a rural community. I'm talking, it's a hole in the wall kind of place. You're driving through the back roads. It's like off a dirt road in the middle of nowhere. So like think of the most country road around you, and then like surprise, there's like a shanty shack, and they serve beer in the back, and there is like a stage back there, and that's like all it is. And so they have a concert series every year, and in San Antonio there's a couple cool establishments. I have a good friend who really, really enjoys country music. So when I get to see her, we go do that together. I actually didn't listen to country music until she like made me go here in Maryland. back in like 10 years ago to a country music concert, which was a lot of fun because I didn't know that there was like bands like that are like very famous bands like from Maryland that are in the country music scene, which is kind of cool. So if you guys like Brothers Osborne, they're from Maryland, everybody, and their high school friends travel to all their concerts, and they are their biggest fans.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. Have you been to a saloon? Do they have saloons in Maine?
No. No, they do not. No, there's you know what's really funny though is that I picture the closest thing to a Texas saloon is probably some kind of a tavern-esque bar in northern Maine. Like northern Maine is kind of like the wilds of Texas.
That's
in that it is very just good old boy a little bit.
That's what I've been told. My dad's paternal family is from northern Maine, like northern Maine, and then they came down to Booth Bay at one point. But he said it's almost like he said like they speak French in some parts up there. Is what it sounds like.
Yeah, so that's like northern like Canadian border. This is more like
the sticks.
It's the sticks. It's there's like different levels of north. You can get the super northern Maine, which is like your townships that are numbered and don't have names, and your Canadian border wilderness stuff. And then there's like Calais and Jay and Jonesport and places like that are just kind of like, they're kind of what people think of when you think of Maine in the stereotypical sense. And as a Mainer who is not, I would say I'm not really a Mainer because my parents are not Mainers.
Okay.
I've always felt sort of a disconnection to that identity of the Mainer.
That legacy, if you will.
Yes.
It's a little regional legacy.
Exactly. Yeah. It's a little weird, but I'm also surrounded by it because it's what it's like working in the sporting goods industry in Maine.
Yeah.
So. But yeah, no saloons, sadly.
The pubs. That was something else. So, fun fact: I used to work in a pub when I was in college. Some of Darlene's back character, I was directly drawing from some experiences that happened to me as a bar. I wasn't allowed to be a bartender because I was like 20 years old, and at least in New Jersey, you can't bartend under 21 because they'll get your license and all that. And when I was a pub waitress, and I was allowed to serve alcohol, but it was fun to kind of draw on some of those experiences too, of working in the service industry. And everyone should work in the service industry once in their life. I believe in that wholeheartedly.
I agree.
It'll make you a more empathetic person and a patient person.
Yep.
Emphasis on patience.
Yeah. It's like, and there's, I almost want to say service industry and retail. Like you got to work both because, which is technically also service industry, but it's like there's different aspects of the service industry. So once you've done one or both of those things, it humbles you.
Oh yeah, I believe that wholeheartedly. Do we have any questions in the comments?
Well, I did find out that show is in Augusta, Maine.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
But
I haven't been there since I was a kid. I just remember a lot of lobsters, like lobster sculptures in the streets.
That's probably Rockland, actually.
Oh yeah,
Rockland has a lobster festival every year.
That's kind of cool.
It is. This area has a couple different ones. The lobster festival happens every year. We have the Blueberry Union Fair, Blueberry Festival that happens around the same time. Those are both like mainstay things, state fair kind of things where they've got like livestock and horse. I can't talk. Horse cart races.
Horse cart races through the thoroughfares.
Things like that.
Oh, I just saw the comments. I didn't know we could like see them. Look at that.
Yes. Frank. I've been doing a very lousy job of attending to them, so I apologize. But we do have some excitement about Frank being there, even though he has vanished.
He has. You know what he did? He just wanted to be in here to have access, and then he left.
Yeah.
He just wants the door open.
Yep.
He's kind of like, I like to say that he's like a cat in a dog's body.
He's very cute. Like
he's a sweetie.
I like the schnauzer.
See, cat behavior. He does have cat behavior, Robbie. That is very true. He has cat behavior. What's the last Texas horror book that you've read, or Western horror book that you've read?
Ooh, it's a really good question because I have no idea. This isn't Western though, but it does take place Midwest. This is, I was reading Enter the Peerless, which is by Kyle Winkler, which does take place sort of out in Midwest. And then from there, God,
would you like some recommendations?
It's been a time since I've read something.
I like to hype other people up too, because I don't know if you're like me, but I get nervous talking about myself. I was like, let me tell you about these people I know.
No, that's good, and I do want to ask you about that. I have one question before we do that though, which is talking about the slasher genre a little bit. I just want to ask you about how you prepared to write the slasher, but also it's not just a slasher; it's a survival horror slasher, which I guess those two are kind of intertwined. But this one feels more survival horror, probably because of just what the main character has gone through in her past. So maybe just talk to us a little bit about that.
Sure, yeah. And for context for the viewers, so the story is about a bartender named Darlene Boone, and she's working at the Tea Garden Saloon like she always does. She's saying hello to her regulars that she happens to be friends with, and it's like the busiest night of the year at the saloon. You have some variables like a bachelorette party that comes through, but she is a survivor of trauma and specifically domestic violence, and so that does add an element of her character's survival instinct to the story. So I always knew going into the story that I wanted like that background for my character in particular. And like we see that in other final girls, like contemporary final girls in particular, I think like that, like justified rage, so if you will, towards the end, like even in like American Horror Story, I'm thinking already like the 1984, where we have like that initially like that virginal final girl, but she had she was in, I'm going to say, an emotionally abusive relationship before that wedding went terribly south. So I always knew that going into it, and I want to say I approached it from, I guess I'm going to say slasher, like plot mechanics first, because what I've learned is writing a slasher is kind of like writing a song. It's rhythmic, and you have to pay attention to the pacing as well. But I think that's where the survival horror comes into this in particular, because it ups the emotional stakes, and it's the survival horror aspect. Well, it's like, okay, what are you going to do when all of the odds are stacked against you? And they are in this scenario because she's limited. there are flashbacks in the story, as you know, but she's limited by the one setting location. And so she has to use what's at her disposal. So yeah, that's kind of how I approached it personally. And then I rewrote the book like 3 times, but yeah.
One thing I really appreciated is the comparison to animals that you do pretty frequently in the sort of prey versus predator. So that was kind of a cool hearkening back and forth that sort of drew you into the slasher aura more.
That was something fun and experimental on my part that I kind of told my publisher I wanted to do and to see if he was cool with it. And pretty much I got the green light for it. And you're not the first person I've heard that from, and that makes me happy that that is something that is resonating with reader, because I wasn't sure how that was going to go with some of the animal references. But it makes sense in a slasher because you have the hunter and you have the prey. And it almost, I think, creates more of a helpless feeling for the person on the other end of the blade, so to speak. And I thought it was fun to also like bring in like Texas animals.
Yes, that also just brings it more into the Texas horror. But what I will say too is that opening paragraph is lands pretty hard. Like it's a great opening paragraph. So just another reason that you guys need to pick up this book and read it.
I love action scenes. I think action scenes are so fun to write. And sometimes I think you can get stuck, you can get tripped up on the mechanics of an action scene. And that's where I think, I don't know about you, but like I do hypnagogic writing, or you just kind of just let it happen and see what comes out of it. And I like to listen to, when action scenes, I like to listen to music because I like to think about running and what does running feel like? What does it smell like? What is it like? What all the sensations that are happening through your body in particular. And who doesn't love a good opening sequence?
Yeah, exactly. Opening in action is great way to pull people in, and just it's a great opening paragraph.
That makes me happy.
And I don't say that lightly. Like there's it's good. It's really good.
That means a lot to me. Thank you.
Now I'm going to ask you to provide some examples of Texas horror.
Okay, I'm going to provide Texas horror. I'm going to give you like different categories. Okay, I'm going to call it dark fantasy, Texas. Okay. We're going to go with The Legend of Charlie Fish by Josh Roundtree. And you may have seen some of his work in, I'm going to call this is kind of like Creature of the Lagoon meets Galveston, Texas, like before like the storm of the century. There's a lot of cool, like Josh Roundtree uses a lot of like Texas history as like the scaffolding for this story. So put this on your radar. Highly recommend. This is a great one. Yeah, he's very nice. I got to meet him a couple years ago. He's very, very nice. The next one I'm going to promote is Stargazers by L.P. Hernandez. I would not call this a traditional Texas horror. It takes place in Texas. I think that the themes, there's a little bit of like that Western horror like theme in terms of the existentialism. I feel like LP's gonna like kick my butt for saying that because I don't think he would call it that. But you have like cosmic phenomenons happening, and for lack of a better term, zombies happening. And it starts in San Antonio is where the story starts, and then it moves west. So Stargazers by L.P. Hernandez.
I have that one downstairs.
Pick it up. You'll read it. You'll read it in a day. And if you've never read his work,
I have.
His narrative style is just it's polished. There's something like somber about it that I really enjoy about LP's work. And there's grief as well. Yeah. There's a grief storyline. So like grief horror, Stargazers by L.P. Hernandez.
I read In the Valley of the Headless Men.
I love that book. I think of the two, that's probably my favorite so far of his. The next one I'm going to bring up is probably a lesser known title, and this is called Mojo Rising by Bob Pastorella, and he is in Southeast Texas. And I will admit that I haven't read the entirety of this book, but I'm going to read you the blurb from John C. Foster, in case anybody knows who John C. Foster is. So it's the prose unfurls with the ease of slow cooked meat sliding off of the bone in Mojo Rising, a platter full of Southern fried noir described with a native's unflinching eye to detail. So if anyone in here has read Yeehaw Junction by Kaylee Scholes, like, I would say this is a good pairing. It is gritty, and it is, you want the grit of Texas, Mojo Rising by Bob Pastorella. The next one is The Ghost Tracks by Celso Hurtado. He is a San Antonio-based author, and this, I'm going to call this like Texas horror because it is regional cultural horror, and there is actually lore in San Antonio about a place called The Ghost Tracks in particular. So I would pick this up. There's a lot of like cool San Antonio like myths and lore, and so Celso has a great way of like tapping into that. And then, of course, I already talked about like the Spite House, Johnny Compton, Southern Noir, Southern Gothic. I apologize. And this just takes place in the Texas Hill Country as well. And you have a family who moves into a haunted house intentionally because they are running away from something. And when they live there, they find out all the secrets that this little community has been hiding. So those are my initial Texas horrors. If you're going to go by like solid Texas horror, like you got the regional stories here. Same with Mojo Rising, and then you've got your more of a Western frontier existentialism because zombies are trying to kill you kind of vibe here, and then you've got your dark fantasy. So a range, everybody, and there's more. There's plenty more out there. That's just what I have in my physical stack, I'll say.
The Ghost Tracks is one that I have had on my radar for a while.
He wrote a sequel, I think, like a year and a half or 2 years ago, I want to say, to it.
Yeah. That's definitely one that I want to check out. And then I have the Spite House also downstairs. That's another one that I need to jump on.
Do you like audiobooks?
I do.
You should get the audiobook for the Spite House.
Okay.
If you like to read, sometimes I will like to listen to the book and have the physical copy and like pair them with each other. The narration is fantastic for that one.
Okay. I'll probably pick that one up. I have a free credit right now. But I am in the midst of the reformatory, which is going to take me some time. I think I have like 16 hours to go.
I have that book on my shelf, and I'm sad to admit I haven't read it yet, but I'm going to. And it's so funny. It's one of those books that I feel like has, how we in our horror community we have books that everybody knows. They're like even trap books. It's one of those books that has gotten out of the horror community, which is very cool. And like my really good friend down the street was like, "Oh, have you heard of this book?" And I was like, "Have I heard of it? It's on my shelf." So yeah, I do want to read that at some point.
Yeah, it's very good so far. So definitely recommend. And the audiobook is very good so far.
Good to know. Maybe I'll get the audiobook. I need to find a new like good platform for listening to audiobooks on. Because I recently I recently canceled my Audible subscription. Well, because I wasn't using my credits and that,
Yeah. That's and I understand canceling it as well because Amazon is horrible.
Everything's bad.
Everything's bad. I figure if I can use it to give back to at least some authors, particularly Black or disabled, LGBTQ, those authors, by buying audiobooks or whatever, that's what I'm going to do. So I am trying to do that as much as I can with my Audible stuff. But my last question is, Since moving away from Texas,
Hmm.
are there parts of it that you miss?
There are definitely parts that I do miss. I miss the people a lot, and they know that too. I'm like, whenever I want to say, if I see them at a conference or if like, on social media, like I miss them. I miss them a lot. They were core pillars for me down there. And they're wonderful people, and I'm glad to know them. I miss Texas wildflower season in particular. Something that's really cool that I hadn't experienced until living in Texas was a wildflower season. And around late, I'm going to say mostly April. April is when this happens. Is all these beautiful wildflowers start coming in bloom across like the state, but like a lot in Central Texas, Southern Texas, like Texas blue bonnets, like different peonies or not peonies, like persimmons, the little pink flowers. I can't remember. I have a tattoo of it. I have a little tattoo of some Texas wildflowers. Everybody.
Oh,
This is me trying to show my tattoo. But I love, and you'll notice, if you notice in the book, I actually have a nickname for Darlene, and that Wanda calls her Wildflower, and there's a reason for that, and it's in the book, and that's a little piece of me in there in particular about why the Texas wildflowers mean a lot to me as a person. Just overall the resiliency of wildflowers, because they grow where they're not supposed to in like harsh climates, and you don't know why they're there. I love wildflower season in particular. I love a good Texas night, and everybody who lives in Texas knows what that means. And it's when it's the heat of the day has dipped below the horizon, but you still have that nice, it's like a warm blanket. You're sitting outside with a good breeze. Maybe it's like the golden hour or just after the golden hour. I love a good Texas night. I love the open space, and not just of Texas, like the Southwest in general. I love the open space out there. I like being able to see a rainstorm like a couple of miles away. That's cool. Like you don't get that, at least in this part of the country, you don't. And it's because the trees are taller, probably. That's why. But I do like that a lot. The landscape, the Texas horror community specifically. We had nice neighbors too. And do I see ourselves moving back there? I don't know. It's very hot. I don't miss the heat. I will say that. I do not miss the heat whatsoever. Like the day we moved into our house in Texas, because we rented a house when we first moved there. We had to rent blind because everybody did back in 2020. So we just showed up. It was 113 degrees.
Oh my God.
And here I am like, it's going to be a dry heat. Don't worry. I was wrong because it's not a dry heat. It's not. It is soupy. It is very soupy weather. So I will never forget the soupy aspect of moving to Tech. And that's how July is. And that's how August is. And the grass dies and it turns brown and shrivels up. And it feels like that opening scene of Wizard of Oz, everything is sepia toned.
Oh God.
That's kind of how it feels. So I don't miss that. I would like to go back and do certain things in Texas. Like Dallas has a fantastic like historical art museum and like art from around the world. It's amazing. And we only did a pass through there because my in-laws live in Arkansas, in Little Rock, and so we had the kids with us. We're like, we'll just do an overnight in Dallas on the way up because it's like a 10-hour drive, and little kids and long drives, no bueno.
Yeah.
So I like to go back and do that. I would like to really go visit in Houston. We did a Memorial weekend trip a couple years ago. Yeah. There's a giant eyeball. Sorry, I just saw Robbie's comment. There's a giant eyeball in Dallas, apparently. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I want to. Someone tag.
Robbie's just full of strange facts.
He really is, but like fun though.
Yes.
Someone tagged the Dallas-based authors and asked about the giant eyeball people. I would like to go. I would like to really go and like really enjoy Houston. We went Memorial Day weekend one year, and it was too busy, and I felt like I didn't get to enjoy it. The zoo was fantastic, but it was also the end of May, which is very hot in Texas. Like if you want to go to Texas when it's nice and cool, you go between like November and March. That's it. Yep. So I would like to go back. There's some kind of horror conference in Houston as well too. Although I'm not sure what it's called. I forget, unfortunately. But yeah, there's a couple places. I didn't get to go see Big Bend. I would like to go see Big Bend. Didn't get to do that for the 4 years that I lived out there because it was like 6.5 hours away.
Yep.
It's a big state.
Big state.
So yeah, like that, I would say I've been fortunate to live in a lot of different places in the country. I don't know if I have one that I would call home, if that makes sense, but I had a positive experience in Texas for the most part. And I think what was really cool about living there too is that I got to see that it's not a monolith, that all Texans aren't like these rowdy, like red pill kind of people. Like they're, like I wrote about it in a previous blog post. You can fight for civil liberties and wear your boots too. And that attitude is more common than people would think.
Knowing that you have so many things that you have not done and that, you might very well get back over there to do a lot of them. Do you think that you're going to revisit Texas horror?
I would like to. If I am fortunate enough to write a sequel to Neon Moon, I already know what I want to do. So it's just a matter. I've read that you're not supposed to just dive into writing sequels, which sounds hard. You should tell me more about that, about writing a sequel, and like any of the fun challenges that you've encountered. But if I had to do another one, it would be a sequel, and I already like have a title in my head. I already knew what I would write it about. Like in my brain, it's all there. It's just kind of. I wrote an opening chapter as well, but it's just kind of.
Oh, sweet.
I would just like me being patient and if it's the right time kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about writing sequels.
So the thing is that what I will say is I didn't plan on writing any sequels when I wrote them, but I had fun doing it. And I have like a third of a sequel written for a book that I'm trying to sell.
Oh,
so I haven't even sold it. And the thing is that I don't care if it sells and they don't want a sequel, because I wanted to write the sequel just because it was fun.
You got to live in the world a little bit more and like be more cozy in it.
And any writing that you do is not bad. It's just, it's all good. It's all fun. So I think you should still write it, even if that opportunity does not present itself. It very well might. But the thing is that you're going to have fun writing it anyway.
That's a good point. That's a good point because I'm glad you said that, because there's so much about this, like writing journey where you can feel burnt out so quickly. And I think I don't know, so like sometimes like I get lost in the sauce where I feel like sometimes it feels like you have to keep up and having to remind yourself that you are on your own timeline. You're not on anyone else's timeline, and that you don't have to pump out a book every year if you like, life happens. Like and it depends on what stage of life you're in as well too. Like that's another big important thing. I'm saying that for all the people with small kids out there, because I have friends who are on the other side where their kids are older, and I've gotten really nice words of wisdom from them, and so I've taken that to heart. And everything happens when it's supposed to. And but I like that you said that, writing it for fun. Like I've been doing that with the poetry collection I'm working on right now. It's just letting myself just take my time with it and enjoy it for what it is, and not rush through it.
Yeah. I think kind of an eye-opening moment last year was going to NeCon, which is this.
I've heard of NeCon, yeah.
It equates itself to summer camp, but the idea is basically that it is a networking, fun thing that happens every year in New Hampshire.
Okay, cool.
And a bunch of writers get together, and there's panels and workshops and just basically hanging out and having fun together. And somebody I talked to there, I won't say who, was feeling the pressures of needing to write something and send it to their agent, and that they were starting to feel that, not necessarily burnt out, but definitely that essence of just like they're not able to write the thing that they want to write for fun. And it really struck me, because it made me feel sad. It made me really, really wish that I could take this person and be like, do what you like, write what you want to do, which is not, obviously they have a timeline, they have things that they're working on, they know what they need to do, but also, but I really do hope that that person does write something for themselves too, that is not for somebody else, that might not be the thing that their agent is necessarily needing them to sell, because on the other end, you never know what they're gonna like. what random thing you put out that's like, this is just for me, and then it turns out everybody likes it. There's good things in doing things for yourself.
I agree. I was telling somebody, I like to keep a notebook, like with poetry is like that's my happy place. That's my happy place. It has been for a very long time. And I've had to remind myself to just write things for myself in the poetry sphere. Another writing community where you can kind of feel like you're falling behind if you're not like constantly doing things. And it's a very competitive market as well too. If you're trying to publish, it's very competitive. But yeah, I don't know. There's like you can find some like really good like moments of peace with those things, and it's nice to just keep it for yourself too. Like you don't have to share it with anybody else. It's just yours. Just yours. And I feel like so much of like our culture today is having to like, I don't know, like hustle and bustle in terms of like just giving so much of ourselves out to the world, and like giving our energy. Like our writing is our energy because we spent so much time on it, and giving all these pieces of ourselves. But like, what happens when you give all of this and you don't pour back into yourself? And writing can be a restorative process too. It can be very restorative.
Yeah. It's hard to find the balance. I was having a conversation about that earlier today. It's just like trying to find the balance is, it's tough, but it can be done.
How do you find restoration through writing?
Well, I'm working on it. I don't think I have any secrets or things that work great, honestly. I think my issue, honestly, is that I typically give myself so much to do that I'm frequently feeling like I'm burning the candle at both ends. And and then when that does become too much, I do kind of hit this wall of like, why do I keep doing this to myself?
I think everybody does that.
And but it's something that I am trying to change. I am trying to get into this mode of not putting myself on such a tight deadline with everything. So, and then trying to space things out so that it makes sense. So I have enough time scheduled in for self-care, as well as getting done what I need to get done. So we'll see. That's the goal this year. It's not off to a great start.
Well, it's winter. It's winter.
It's,
spring hasn't started. Today's weather showed me that. It was awful. Yesterday was 80 degrees. And you know what happened today? Rain and snow. It was awful.
Yeah, this is fall spring.
It is fall spring.
This is typical. This is fall spring, and then we'll have third winter, and then we'll have mud season here, and then we'll have spring eventually.
I'm gonna send you a video after this of like someone's like, everyone talks about October and November. We're like, what about March? And it's just like all these like muddy snow piles and parking lots everywhere.
That's what it is. It's nasty.
Mud season.
Mud season. Oh yeah.
Oh my goodness. I was looking at the comments.
Where can everybody find you to learn more about what you've got coming up next and all that?
I have a website I semi keep up with regularly. I read a book called Mud Season, Robbie. My website is gravereynolds.com. Grave, like throw yourself in the grave 6 feet below. Gravereynolds.com. I semi update regularly. I feel like I can never get website layouts correctly, so it ticks me off to even go look at it. I am primarily on Instagram. It is the platform that I started on. I enjoy it there, and that's where you can find where I'm the most active, I would say. And then I also have a Substack as well that you can either find through my page. I want to say it's on both my website or on my Instagram, but on Substack, Grace Reynolds, and my newsletter is called Letters of Mundane Horror. And I try to keep that. I try to do it at least once a month. I try to post on there. But Instagram, that's where I'm a menace the most. At Grave Reynolds. Sorry, I forgot to even say the handle. So.
All right, so you guys need to go find Grace on Instagram and follow her. Subscribe to the Substack so that you can get your monthly updates. And then go order Neon Moon. Yes. It is up for pre-order at Dark Matter?
Dark Matter Inc. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And I always recommend ordering through the press directly, especially if it's a small press, because it benefits everybody all around.
Mm-hmm.
And it's good to support small businesses.
It definitely is.
Mm-hmm.
So this one is up for pre-order right now. You can get it before it comes out on May 5th. And I want to say thank you for coming on.
This is really fun. Thank you for having me and all my silliness.
Well, we are no stranger to silliness here, and I enjoyed this. And
I enjoyed this too. This was a lot of fun. Will you be at StokerCon?
I will not be at StokerCon this year. It is. It just is a little too much money for me to spend this year. Mm-hmm. It's also during the same week as my job's 50th anniversary.
Congratulations to them.
So I am on the marketing team trying to do all that. It would just be a lot shoved into 1 week.
Oh yeah.
So I do hope that you have a good time though at StokerCon.
I'll keep you posted. It'll be my first time in Pittsburgh. I'm excited.
Sweet. Yes.
Yeah. And I'll see you in August.
Yes. We'll see each other in August. And yeah. So thank you everybody in the chat who came out tonight to hang out.
Thanks for hanging out with us.
Next week we have back-to-back episodes. See, here's where I'm talking about the too much. We have back-to-back episodes next week. On Wednesday night we have Brianna Morgan who is going to talk all about haunted houses, which should be lots of fun. And then on Thursday, we have a fellow Mainer, Jason Alexander, who is going to talk about psychological horror.
Nice.
So both of those episodes should be lots of fun. Put them on your calendars. Make sure that you come back and hang out with us. We'll be here at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time both days. And until then, we will see you soon.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good